Maraming salamat po, Mr. Speaker, at sa mga kasamahan natin sa kapulungang ito. Mr. Speaker, in the Declaration of Principles and Policies, the Rules of the House, Paragraph 2 states, public office is a public trust. The House of Representatives and every member thereof are accountable to the people at all times. They shall perform their legislative mandates with utmost competence, efficiency, effectiveness, integrity, and fidelity to the people's welfare. In addition, Rule 20, Section 142 provides, there is hereby established in the House the following Code of Conduct. A member shall act at all times in a manner that shall reflect credibility in the House. Republic Act 6713 provides, Section 4, Paragraph C, as follows. Justness and sincerity. Public officials and employees shall remain true to the people at all times. They must act with justness and sincerity and shall not discriminate against anyone, especially the poor and the underprivileged. They shall at all times respect the rights of others and shall refrain from doing acts contrary to law, good morals, good customs, public policy, public order, public safety, and public interest. Mr. Speaker, I made reference to these guideposts in order for us to be reminded as to what we are. A set of moral compass to guide us as to who we are. Slides 1, 2, 3, please. Mr. Speaker, those slides are intended to show the demolition that took place in Osamis City between the months of April to August of last year. Konting problema yung ating mga video, Mr. Speaker. As I said, these video clips were taken, Mr. Speaker, in Osamis City, Misamis Occidental, sometime between April and August last year, in the middle of the pandemic, in connection with the implementation of 19KJ0186 project entitled Construction of Multipurpose Building Housing Project Cluster, including site development through the initiative of Deputy Speaker Henry Waminal. Based on the 102-page Fiscal Year 2019 Status of Contract Report issued by DPWH Region 10 with Bukidnon First District Engineering Office as implementing agency, this so-called multipurpose housing project was already 71.36% completed as of January 31, 2020. First, this must be checked, Mr. Speaker, because it does not appear to be the fact on the ground as we speak. Can we have slide 4, please? Slide 4, please. Ayan po yung building na kinoconstruct. That picture or photo was taken last December 24, 2020. Ang sabi po sa report ng Bukidnon District Engineering Office, it is 71.36% completed as of January 2020. Yan po ang kanyang forma as of December last year. How can a project that barely started in April 2020 be 71% finished on January 31, 2020, Mr. Speaker? Hindi pa man nag-uumpisa, Mr. Speaker, halos tapos na ng i-report ng DPWH. Second, the said project is a local infrastructure project or LIP per certification of the OIC of the 2nd District Engineering Office of the DPWH in Tangub City, dated September 8, 2020. In the same certification, it was affirmed that it is the 2nd Engineering District Office that is implementing the project and not the 1st Engineering Office of Bukidnon. Apparently, Mr. Speaker, there is a ghost project somewhere. Third, does the DPWH now undertake housing projects and as such already assume the functions of the National Housing Authority or the Department of Human Settlement and Human Development? But the most unconscionable aspect of this project, Mr. Speaker, was the unlawful taking of privately owned lots through an expropriation complaint filed against several of the city's own residents by the city mayor, the son of D.S. Waminal, on January 18, 2020. Records show that as of today, the court issued a writ of possession against 2 residents and none to the rest. But with or without the writs issued, the city government summarily demolished their houses. The affected residents filed certiorari petition directly to the Honorable Supreme Court, invoking extreme urgency and the transcendental nature of the case. But the usual nonchalance and complacency of the judiciary with the lockdown and quarantine orders obtaining frustrated their plea for immediate help. And so in late April of last year, Mr. Speaker, the city government of Osamis City started building the 2 condo-type housing in Barangay Laman, Osamis City, which Barangay Captain Sancho Waminal Jr. is the brother of D.S. Henry Waminal. The video clip shown earlier narrate how the demolition and summary eviction was undertaken. These were all done without any court orders, Mr. Speaker. Yusik Echeverry of the DILG further confirmed to this representation the unlawful demolition of the residents' houses without court orders. Mr. Speaker, in July last year, this representation communicated with D.S. Waminal, advising him to the effect that due process must be observed in implementing his project. Again, those video clips will confirm that my advice fell on deaf ears, Mr. Speaker. Now it can be told, as we speak, the 2 condo-type housing structures in Laman, Osamis City, are being constructed on lands not owned by the government, done in the backdrop of the chilling shadows of the tattered homes of its aggrieved citizens. Only in Osamis City, Mr. Speaker, and as the project originator himself, D.S. Henry Waminal may now have earned the moniker the Demolition Man. Slide number 5, please. Problema ang sound, Mr. Speaker, but in this press con, Mr. Speaker, D.S. Waminal was invoking Republic Act 10752 in justifying the expropriation of lands for the so-called housing project. He maintains that it is a national project contrary to the certification of the district engineer of the DPWH. In that particular press con, Mr. Speaker, when D.S. Waminal was already referring to Section 6 of that law, he abruptly stopped. Why? Because this provision clearly shows that the expropriation proceedings must always be initiated through the Office of the Solicitor General or the Office of the Government Corporate Counsel or the deputized government or private counsel. Who initiated the expropriation of property in question in Laman, Osamis City? The city government of Osamis, represented by the mayor, son of D.S. Waminal, and in the barangay, captained by his brother. Did he coordinate with the Office of the Solicitor General or the Office of the Government Corporate Counsel? No, Mr. Speaker. Was the government of Osamis City deputized to initiate the expropriation? No, Mr. Speaker. Under Section 6 of the expropriation law, the proponents should immediately deposit to the court upon filing the expropriation complaint the following: the amount equivalent to the sum of 100% of the value of the land based on the current relevant zonal valuation of the BIR. Number 2, the replacement cost at current market value of the improvement and structures as determined by the special agencies of the government. Number 3, the current market value of crops and trees located within the property as determined by special agents and agencies of government. Tinupad po ba agad ng ang mga requirements na ito matapos maghain ang Osamis City ng expropriation complaint? Hindi po. Mr. Speaker, aside from RA 10752, which is the controlling law on expropriation, there is another controlling law violated by the proponents of this project. Under Section 10 of Republic Act 7972, the Urban Land and Housing Act of 1992, the following is categorical and instructive. The modes of acquiring lands for purposes of this act shall include, among others, community mortgage, land swapping, land assembly or consolidation, land banking, donation to the government, joint venture agreement, negotiated purchase, and expropriation. Provided that expropriation shall be resorted only when other modes of acquisition have been exhausted. Provided further that where expropriation is resorted to, parcels of land owned by small property owners shall be exempted for purposes of this Act. Yes, Mr. Speaker, the residents who oppose the site development are small landowners who use their hard-earned income from honest work to build a modest home for their respective families. The irony of it all, Mr. Speaker, is that it took a mysterious and intriguing multipurpose building dubbed as a housing project for the poor to destroy existing houses built by ordinary residents on their titled lands without the observance of the elementary requisites of due process. There were no orders or writs of demolitions issued by the courts, no compensation, no relocation, no proper consultation. The DILG and PNP did not lift a finger to help despite the request from this representation. But that is another point to be dealt with some other time, Mr. Speaker. What made these demolition and eviction activities even more revolting and unscrupulous, Mr. Speaker, is the fact that these were undertaken at the time of a declared state of calamity throughout the country, as well as a state of public health emergency. It is public knowledge that between mid-March and August this year, the most rigid type of lockdown and stay-home orders were implemented by the government. Yet the proponents of this project, Mr. Speaker, were busy demolishing homes without let-up. This happened, Mr. Speaker, despite the issuance of DILG Memorandum Circular number 2020-068, postponing all administrative demolition during enhanced community quarantine. Clause 2 of that memorandum provides, and I quote, purpose. This memorandum circular is issued to direct all LGUs to postpone all demolition and eviction activities and ensure that all homeless citizens within their jurisdictions are properly accommodated. This circular, Mr. Speaker, ensures that all homeless citizens are accommodated within the respective jurisdictions of LGUs during the pandemic. That is why all the demolition and eviction activities are postponed. The proponents of the project, on the other hand, DS Waminal, Mayor Waminal, and Barangay Captain Waminal conspired to ensure that several of the residents are rendered homeless by destroying their homes and evicting them during the lockdown and pandemic. Slide 6, please. On November 21, 2020, the City Administrator, Attorney Sam Norman Fuentes, the brother-in-law of DS Waminal, asked one of the residents to write to him and for them to request from him a relocation for their bedridden mother. In the photograph, that is the bedridden mother of one of the residents, Mr. Speaker. Only the barangay hall was offered as relocation. Slide 7, please. Can you fix the video, please? Walang sound dyan eh. Para makita natin. That's not the one. Slide 6. Yan nga. Slide 7. Slide 7. Walang sound eh. May diferensya po mga slides, Mr. Speaker. Sayang naman. Because the slide 7 shows how the eviction is being conducted. Malakas ang ulan noon. Yung matanda na may sakit na nasa wheelchair ay binubuhat. Di ba natin pwedeng ipakita? This is the first eviction of one of the residents by virtue of a break-open order issued by the court. By the way, Mr. Speaker, this representation holds a document that judges in Osamis City receive 50,000 pesos allowance per month from the city government. Before the family of this resident was finally evicted on November 24, 2020, they had an emotional and moving prayer seeking for justice and retribution. Slide 8, please. Sana naman, maipakita natin ng mabuti yung slide. Slide 8 po. Slide 1 and 2 and 3 yan pinapakita ninyo eh. What happened to the audio system? Dapat po kasi makita natin kung paano po nagdasal, paano po nanalangin ang isang sambahayan bago po sila umalis. Tinesting po natin mabuti kanina yan bago po. Bakit naman po hindi natin maipakita ng mabuti ngayon? Can you go direct to slide 8, please? Sound, please. Sayang po, Mr. Speaker, because that slide depicts how the family was praying hard. They are all crying for justice. This is minutes before they left their own home. Anyway, Mr. Speaker, a day later, due to stroke while being evicted, their mother died. Ang kanyang mga labi ay hindi na po naiburol sa kanilang bahay kung saan marahil binuo ng kanyang pamilya ang kanilang mga payak at mumunting mga pangarap. Pwede ba yung slide 9? Ayan po, Mr. Speaker. Namatay na po yung kanilang nanay, nakaburol na po. Earlier, Mr. Speaker, I referred to a set of rules, the moral compass that will guide us and to constantly remind us as to who we are, far from becoming into what we should not be, like tormenting the very constituents that we all vowed to serve. Maraming salamat po, Mr. Speaker, sa inyong panahon. Maraming salamat po sa ating mga kasamahan dito sa loob ng kapulungan.